Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today, for your Friday, it's going to be another edition of Into the Void, which just means it's going to be a bronze, silver, or gold level replay sent to me at falconpaladin@gmail.com with the subject of Into the Void. And this is lobby stuff. We're going to learn a lot, laugh a little bit, and go ahead and get into the replay. Top left-hand corner is the red Terran player, TanYak. And in the bottom right-hand corner is the blue Zerg player. It is Kyaralonus. We're going to call him Kai from now on, I think. Just easier than that. Kai versus TanYak. Going for an extractor pool opening here. Not saturating the extractor. Kai, come on, man. That is something we need to learn here today. If you make an extractor or an assimilator or a refinery, you need to immediately saturate it or you just wasted resources and time on nothing. And if you're going to go extractor pool as Zerg, you need that gas for speed or banelings. So you better get onto it early. Terran player, extractor. I'm not entirely sure if he saturated it immediately, but it looks like he did. Extractor, barracks, supply depot first tier. So yes, I think this player knows basic build orders. And Kai here is struggling just a little bit. He has a lot of supply. 2 overlords, an evolution chamber. Once your spawning pool pops, basically you want to build a queen as soon as possible. It allows you to inject larvae and get more larvae than would otherwise be common with just a hatchery. 2 extractor, evolution chamber, blocking off the expansion with a supply depot. That is not a very good idea here because lings are already on the way because there's a pool. This is interesting. This is a very, very interesting attempt at a block here. And he's going to get away with it just because these lings are not interested in shutting it down because they don't know that it's there. This is a very, very defensive play here. All right, Kai. First, well, maybe second or third tip. Go hatch first against Terran. It's very, very safe. Go ahead and drone scout. Send your first drone out to see what's going on across the map. Finally saturating that second extractor, by the way. You want to do that too as soon as it pops. But if you're doing this, either you're going for a Nidus play or you're going for roaches or something. But at this point, just having lings and just having evolution chamber is not making any sense to me at all. I'm extremely confused by this game. Factory coming up for the Terran. Again, he's one basing it, which is pretty smart considering the Zerg player is on one base himself. You can beat a Zerg player who is on one base if you're on one base as a Terran or a Protoss because the Zerg needs more production in order to beat you. So the Ling's still on the ramp here. Defending speed's almost done. He is working on that +1 melee attack, which is nice. He's got his queen sitting here. Has she injected since she's popped? I don't think she has. She has about 42 energy down there. I hope she knows about injecting. There we go. Inject, toss down. A little bit late, but better late than never. Pro tip 2. A recent, a patch like a year ago made it so that if you have enough energy to inject again, but a hatchery's already been injected on, you can inject again. There it is! You can get a second inject queued up on there. So once that inject finishes, the second one will start going without you having to do anything. It's nice. It's a really, really nice thing. Baneling nest here too. So it's basically a Baneling nest build, or a Baneling bust build. If you're planning on Baneling busting a Terran player, go to LOTV.spawningtool.com and find a Baneling bust build and just follow it to the letter. This is crazy. You really don't need more than 1 gas to go for a Baneling bust. I understand the +1 melee attack is nice, but it's not going to help you in the bust scenario. The Banelings will do as much damage to this supply depot as otherwise it would with the +1 melee. So that's not going to help. The other problem is there's already a tank out for TanYak. He is supply blocked. Unfortunately, this Reaper is defending against, I think he's defending against Nidus play. We've seen quite a bit of that, honestly. Nidus play on the ladder recently. Railgun kind of popularized it, at least as far as I'm concerned. A little 13-12 into Nidus speedling all-in is kind of crazy good. If the Terran player scouts and recognizes what it is, they can shut it down pretty easily there too. Tanks can help with that immensely. A lot of Marines pulling the boys, etc., etc. Just general how to hold against a Zerg all-in. All applies pretty much to everything the Zerg player can do. So natural hatch going to pop. That's going to help immensely as far as producing stuff here. TanYak is ready for something, but there's really not much of anything coming his way at the stage. The Marines are like, hey, wait. We were going to move out, but there's a lot of Zerglings down there. We just saw the SCV get murdered by them, so maybe we'll be a little bit more careful than that. You going +2? You going +1 missile attack for his roaches. His roach warren just popped. So the second gas, all this gas he has saved up might actually help a little bit. for making roaches here. Roaches are, I mean, they're not more gas heavy than mineral heavy, but you can't get as much gas as you can minerals over time. So it makes sense to have 2 gas if you're going roach in this situation. Viking cruising on out, trying to find some overlords to kill, I guess. Zergling's going to chase him down and say, hey, you leave my stuff alone. I don't have much that can shoot up here. There's the 1 queen. The natural base doesn't have a queen at all. Unfortunately, Ling's running into a tank marine line. Nope. If you had about 3 times as many Lings as that, you could have done it. That would have been enough. But as it stands, that many Lings with that many Marines and that many tanks, no. 5 kills and 3 kills on those siege tanks. Bad decision there. One thing about Zerg is you have to know when it's safe to attack into a Terran or a Protoss or a Zerg. Really, you have to know it's safe to do so. Otherwise, you're just going to lose everything. It's a lesson I've learned more than once over and over and over again, where I feel like I've got it, and it's just not correct, and I don't handle it well, and I lose my entire army, and it makes me very sad. Very, very sad here on the inside. A Hydralisk Den on 2 bases. Needs to really be droning up more than this. 25 workers on 2 bases in 6 minutes is not enough. You need to never stop making drones, never stop making overlords, and you will be okay in a general sense, especially at these lower levels of the game. So 2 bases happily running for TanYak here. He's got 35 workers. He's tossing down all the mules. His income is insanely good compared to the Zergs, as we can see down here on the bottom. A 3rd base coming up here for TanYak too. TanYak! He might be overmatching Kai a little bit here in MMR. Production tab empty for Kai. It is crazy for TanYak. Yeah, I think I have more advice for Kai than I do for TanYak. He seems to be knowing what he's doing. He's spending his money pretty effectively well. Probably honestly should move the Reaper out at some stage, but I think that's okay. It really doesn't need to worry about much right now as far as scouting is concerned. But Roach Hydra, pretty decent if you have some Banelings in the mix too. Man, Liberators here from TanYak. We don't usually see Liberators at this super low level, but TanYak seems to know what he's doing. A lot of he's worried about that Viking coming back, so he created 3 Spore Crawlers to handle it. A bit of an overreaction. Again, that's the thing we see quite a bit in the lower levels, is a lot of overreactions going on from these players. If something happens, they really sacrifice a lot of resources to make sure it doesn't happen again. We don't really have to worry about it as much. 1 Spore would have been enough to handle anything coming in from that direction. 3 is kind of overkill. But you know what? It might work out. In the end, army supply 57 to 29 in favor of the Terran player. This is really bad news bears for the Zerg. Again, I like Roach Hydraling, but he just doesn't have enough of it. And honestly, against this many Marines, you're going to want some Banelings anyway. Marines, especially as they start getting upgrades, really trade effectively versus Roach Hydra. They've got Stim. They don't have any Medivacs, though, which, that might be a bit of the Terran player's undoing here, is not having any Medivacs. And honestly, if you've got Liberators, just set them up in Defender mode. If they're holding still at all, just Defender mode them. It doesn't hurt anything to do so. If you're moving them, okay, don't Defender mode them because they can't move when they're in Defender mode. But this looks really, really bad for our Zerg friend here. He's getting Burrow and +1 Ground Carapace, but this might just be a bit of a steamroll. That's a lot of Liberators, man. Alright, well, goodbye all the Zerg in these circles. Yeah, ouch. That was pretty darn well executed from TanYak. Just set up on the ramp. His army is up 77 to 8 right now. Kai is in a heaping help of trouble. There's just no way we're coming back from this at all. So rough stuff there from Kai. I wouldn't say it was a timing attack exactly, but it was a pretty scary Liberator Marine tank attack at about 8 minutes. Yeah, Lings popping out of eggs, getting massacred down there. There's nothing to me that can stop this at all. There are 6 Hydras in production. But really hard for Hydras to attack Liberators when they can't get to the Liberator body, right? You walk through the circles, you die. Oh, some Medivacs showed up just for fun. Look at how patient TanYak is being right now. He's like, you know what? I think we've got this thing won. There's no reason to charge up a ramp where there could be a bunch of Banelings waiting. He's going for a Ghost Academy. What the heck, dude? This is not a fair match at all. I want to say Hydra's got to focus down those Liberators as their priority. Not that it really matters here, but they do take down all the 3 of the Liberators, almost all of them. Too many Marines maraining though. Too many Marines maraining. Hydralisk down, and that's it. That's going to be all she wrote. Goodbye, all of the Zerg stuff here. Just continuing to send reinforcements down here, tanks and everything else. GG from Kai. Pretty happy about that. Taps out, and TanYak is your winner in the first of a sneaky twofer between, well, featuring Zerg players versus Terran players. So sneaky two for there a bit. Yeah, problematic there for the Zerg. I mean, really what it came down to in that match was just have more stuff. And you have more stuff by doing an accurate build. So first tip, LOTV.spawningtool.com. Go find a build that talks about stuff you want to do. Go learn it. Follow it religiously. And against Terran, go hatch first. Go hatch first. Go gas. Go pool. Make a couple links to deal with the Reaper that's probably going to show up. And then just drone your face off. Drone, 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 drone. Drone, drone, drone until you have like 35, 40 workers. And then you can start making stuff after that. So overall, that's the general concept. And if you're going to deal with this many Marines, Banelings are going to be your best friend. You're going to want to attack the Terran out here. You're not going to want him set up in your natural base when you decide to attack him. For that, creep spread is a really big deal. I mean, a couple tumors went down inside the main. That was fantastic, but you really need to start the creep here and push it out. So when the Terran player shows up, he has to walk onto creep, which gives your units a speed bonus. And speed is really good in an RTS and gets you surrounds on them that way. So Baneling Nest was done, but no Banelings actually died or were created, therefore. So losses 6,000 even for Kai, 1,800 for TanYak. Those Marines going down, and those 3 Liberators cost him on that one. But overall, really efficient game from the Terran player. Just not quite ready for it. A little bit lost. Again, a little bit overmatched, too. I wouldn't feel bad about losing this game, Kai. Sometimes you get matched up with somebody who's a lot better than you are. And there's not much you can do until you learn, and until you grow, and until you improve. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff had by all. Let's check out the second game here of the Sneaky Twofer. We'll be right back. All right, game 2 of our Sneaky Twofer is going to be between Kai and Funky Monkey. What a great name. Here on Turbo Cruise 84, the Ladder Edition. Have I cast a game on this map yet? I just realized I don't think I've cast a game on Turbo Cruise yet. Huh. That's weird. I've cast a lot of games since this has come out. So these are just slowdown fields. You have to come through. You come through here, it slows you down a lot. It slows down Ling Rushes, it slows down like Reapers if they try to go through, etc., etc. Kind of makes the map a bit bigger in the earlier game than otherwise would be. But bottom left-hand corner, red Zerg player Kai. Top right-hand corner, blue Terran player Funky Monkey. All right, man. Let's see how this works out. Oh, Funky. Oh, Funky Monkey. He's doing the thing. He's doing the thing we see at lower levels where you throw up 3 supply depots before you do anything else. I mean, that's so many resources that should be going to other stuff right now. You should have a barracks. You should have some gas. You can wall off with a supply depot and a barracks, you guys. And maybe another supply depot if you want. The third one is just absolutely insanely not needed. So Funky Monkey doing some crazy stuff already here. Maybe he's a little bit closer to Kai's level. That would be nice. That would be nice if it was. What is going on, Kai? Kai, you know I love you, man. But 2 gas this early and not saturating them. Okay, got the 1. That's good. Second one. Yeah, he's selecting his drones for the second one. There it is. Woo! All right. So again, it looks like he's probably going to try for a Baneling bust. We've learned this lesson already. You don't need this much gas for a Baneling bust. You just don't. You need 1 extractor's worth of gas just working nonstop. You have enough to make 5 or 6 Banelings. You come up, you break this, you win. Having 2 extractors worth of gas means fewer Zerglings is all it is. It's workers that should be getting minerals, that should be allowing you to make Zerglings, that should be allowing you to make an expansion so you can make more Zerglings with more larvae. I like the inject there. That was a fantastic inject, Kai. Really well done on that queen pop. Terran player is going kind of an anti-Baneling bust build here, just with 4 barracks. 4 barracks opening, no gas at all. So we're going to see the power of a and a lair. What? Okay, another tip. If you're going Baneling bust, you don't need a lair this early. Banelings can waddle up this ramp just fine. They don't need the speed bonus that they get from getting centrifugal hooks, which you can only get if you have a lair. Again, I might be projecting what I think Kai is trying to do here, but it just looks all the world like he's going for another Baneling bust without a Baneling nest and without a second base here. So 15 hatchet, man. Just 15, 16, 17 hatchet, somewhere around there. 17 hatch is fine, honestly, against most stuff a Terran player wants to do. And here we go. Just a lot of Marines. This is just Funky Monkey going for just make a ton of Marines and a move across the map build, which pretty good at the lower levels, pretty garbage at the higher levels. You never see the pros try anything like that. Hydralisk Den. Once again, he likes his Hydras. This kind of feels like maybe this is a Brood War player who's transitioned into StarCraft 2. I mean, you still want to hatch earlier than this in Brood War. And there's the Baneling Nest. So the general concepts are fine here from Kai. Right? Hydroling Bane is pretty fantastic against, well, this stuff that we're seeing here. There's a lot of tanks. It's not as good. But pretty darn good against Protoss in general. Ananitis. Okay. Now we're getting interesting here. I'm liking this. I'm liking the Nidus play. So we just threw a ton of drones up to build all these buildings, which means he needs to replace them, and he is making more drones. So that's a good lesson to learn too. You're going to be sitting at a happy number of workers. You'll be fully saturated on 2 bases, but suddenly you build 4 or 5 buildings, and you're not saturated anymore. You got to replace those. You got to keep that in mind. To replace drones, always be making drones, always making overlords, and you'll be having a better time. So it's going to be a Nidus attempt, which is not going to work out all that well because the army for Funky Monkey is coming, and he's coming to kill you. Now, the other tip here is you need to make units. I like that you have just a handful of lings here to deal with a Reaper that's probably going to come out, but at some point, look at the slowing here. See, it does slow down this attack a little bit. Looks like it's hurting them too as they're glowing green, but it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, this is just honestly kind of a hard hold in general if you don't see it coming, which is what scouting is all about. So yeah, if these were Banelings, maybe this would work, but these are not Banelings, and as a result, this is yet another just Terran kind of moves across the map and wipes out the Zerg play. Yeah, Marine good unit if you're not quite prepared for it. I like how the Marines are not going up the ramp. Hiders aren't going to help you here. If anything, Banelings will help you here. Banelings coming down this ramp and crashing into these guys might even be able to kill all of them, but this is a lot. This is a lot of Marines just steadily moving across the map here. Queen down. Actually, the Marines are completely ignoring the Queen. Just kidding. Never mind. They're not. They were for a second. And yeah, this is going to be it. This is going to be it. This happens on the lower levels, you guys. Marines kind of wandering across the map, killing everything. Single Hydra. It gets a kill before it gets wiped out. That was all right. Resources lost, 2,500 to 150. Kai just going down. Importance of scouting, really in both situations. What you want to do is you want to set an overlord up, okay? First overlord, there are usually these little high ground areas you can sneak an overlord onto without the Terran being able to kill it for quite some time. So you send them your first overlord. That first overlord that you have, you send it up, you stick it on the high ground, and that way you can see what comes out of the main base. At the very least, you can see there are Marines pushing out constantly, giving you some time to respond and make some Banelings, and make some Hiders to back those up, and maybe make a lot of Lings, right? Also, you can send an Overlord in. If they're not expanding, that means an attack is coming. So the Overlord also checks for the presence of a command center. If there's not one there, prepare for a 1-base attack. Maybe send the Overlord over and see what's going on. You can see all these barracks, and you can know it's going to be a ton of Marines and Marauders. Maybe just Marines, right? Depending on the gas right here. If you can see the gas, you can sneak over there too. That helps a lot. And in that case, it's going to be Spine Crawlers right here. It's going to be Banelings. It's going to be, I guess, Roaches probably in this situation too. Teching up this far when someone is just going tier 1 units on you means you're probably going to die. So those are the lessons we can learn here today. So GG. Kai was sport enough to send in 2 games that he had lost. Looking for coaching. You know, he doesn't have any shame on that, right? He's a good dude. Some people will only send in wins, but not this dude, Kai. He just wants to learn. So, congratulations to him. I really expect to see more replays from him in the future as he learns more and grows. Again, please go to LOTV.spawningtool.com. Just build orders can help so much at these lower levels. If you see a player with a build order against someone who doesn't have a build order in bronze, the build ordered player is probably going to win. That's generally how that works. So do that. And yeah, 24 drones, 14 lings, 3 hydras, a queen for 3 marines. That is some pretty efficient play, Funky Monkey. All right, that's going to be it for me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and an Into the Void. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.
Broken and ashamed by what you have done. There is no redemption, and so you must run. And it's taken your heart into the void to find a place you can live, a place you can love. Is it just an illusion? When push comes to shove, there's a light upon you, and you follow it on, looking for reason and a way to atone. All around you, the planets and stars. You're lost in a maelstrom of a great new unknown. And you're running into the void. You go searching into the void to find a place you can live, a place you can love. Is it just an illusion? When push comes to shove, and you're running into the void. You go searching into the void.